What's up, YouTube and Podcast Nation? Welcome to the From Setbacks to Success YouTube channel and podcast. I'm your host, Quincy Benton, and guess what? I'm a felon. Not only have I served time in federal prison, but I've been divorced, declared bankruptcy, experienced a house fire. In short, I've experienced some major setbacks in my life. Some of you too watching right now have experienced some major setbacks in your lives as well. Setbacks such as a major loss of a loved one, a job loss, or maybe even the loss of a home through some type of natural disaster such as a tornado or a hurricane. However, through the content that you'll find on this channel, through the interviews that we provide and the information that we provide, you'll find tips, strategies that will help you get back in the game and succeed. If this sounds like content that you would be interested in, please smash that like button and press the subscribe button as well. We would love to have you as a part of our community. So, with that said, let's jump right into today's topic. Okay, today's topic is going to be the 7 ways people overcome setbacks. So, this is actually a topic, and these are kind of based upon questions I would get from the people who know me, that know some of the things that I've been through. And, they'll just ask me like, Q, how is it that you gotten through, all of these setbacks, these challenges that you faced and encountered in your life? And, I really, I won't say that I'm an expert in this area, because I don't want you to feel like there's just one way of doing this. But these are some of the things that I have found from the things that I've gone through and the information that I've researched as well, that's helped me get to a point where I feel like that, I've been able to, over time, get through some of the challenges that I've faced in my life, and then the challenges that I've experienced in my life. So before getting into that, I kind of want to at least set the table correctly, and let's just get with a good working definition of what a setback is. And just according to just the basic dictionary, a setback is an event that makes you lose progress or keeps you from gaining ground. Another definition of a setback is an unfortunate happening that hinders or impedes progress. So when we look at setbacks in with those two kind of definitions in mind, it does give us an idea of essentially just saying that a setback is just essentially what it says. It's something that sets us back. It doesn't allow us. It's something that happens in our lives that it does not allow us to move forward in some of the areas or goals that we might we're wanting to achieve in our lives. So, with that being said, there are 2 different things, or 2 different subcategories, I would say, of setbacks that I would like to kind of at least address as well. The first subcategory are called voluntary setbacks, and the second category are called involuntary setbacks. So, voluntary and involuntary, what does that mean? So a voluntary setback would be a setback essentially that you had some direct influence in. And I'll get more into that just here in a bit. And an involuntary setback would be something that essentially just happens to you. So the best way that I can the example that I could use would be in my life, the 2 of the 3 setbacks, using them as examples. First, starting with, say, an involuntary setback. I think this would be the easiest one to define. In my case, would be the house fire that I experienced. It was involuntary because it was nothing that I directly did to cause that house fire. So it was determined that it was a fire that it was electrical fire that started from an electrical shortage, a wiring shortage that took place in the kitchen. And so, that was not my fault. I had nothing not in my control. There was something that just happened. It was, a classic definition of what that we would call an involuntary setback. Another setback in my life would be something such as my divorce. Now, this can be kind of a gray area for some people, because some people may feel like their divorce was not something that they controlled. It was something that was on the other party or the other person, and it just kind of was something. It was involuntary. It was something that happened to them, and that's fine. In a lot of these cases with setbacks, there's no clear, black and white. There are shades of gray, but in certain cases with divorces, you could possibly classify them as voluntary on both sides. Both people played some type of role in it. As someone who's looking back at it, if you're fully transparent, you just can say, these were the things that I did that contributed to this marriage breakdown, and as a result of that, these were actions that again were voluntary, things that were in my control, and maybe had I done things a little differently, there would have been a different outcome. 7 ways people overcome setbacks. Let's start with the first one, which is essentially learn from the mistake. Now again, you have to put this in context of a voluntary or involuntary setback. If there was something that you could have done differently that could have possibly created a different outcome, these are the things that you want to really take into consideration. You really want to kind of, really do a lot of, evaluation in as far as your thought process, your actions, your motivation, your desires, etc. And you want to, hold yourself essentially accountable for whatever part that you played in the setback that took place, and learn from it. And not only learn from it, but come up with a different strategy or a different outlook on the things that led to your mistake, so that you don't continue to repeat those mistakes again. So they said that there's a popular saying that related to the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. So you don't want to be a crazy person, insane person when it comes to overcoming setbacks. Learn from the mistakes that you've made, and make the adjustments so that you don't find yourself, doing this over and over again. So that is strategy number 1 for overcoming a setback. Strategy number 2 would be conquer the fear, guilt, or shame. So for many of us who have gone through certain types of setbacks, again, mine were incarceration, divorce, as well as a house fire. In particular, when it came to my incarceration after getting out, or even while, at times while I was serving time, again, just being fully transparent, there was a bunch of guilt and shame that I had attached to what had happened. And so when you're looking at how to get back, or come back, or to overcome a setback such as incarceration, or any of the setbacks that there may be shame or guilt or fear in a lot of times depression or anxiety tied to that setback. And so that's where it's important that you conquer this so that you can move on. Now, how do you do that? Good question. So techniques for conquering these types of feelings and emotional trauma or emotional things that we go through is, 1, to seek counsel or professional therapy. We talk about this a lot on the channel. We actually have a episode with Dr. Mauricia Palmer. Go check that episode out. I'll put a link here in the description to that episode so that you can check that out. She is a professional therapist, and she offers tips for how you get through some of these things. Another idea or tip for conquering the fear, guilt, shame, anxiety, depression is to forgive yourself. It is very important that at some point, that particularly if you've gone through the process of, and this would be another topic of atonement, and reconciliation with anybody that you may have affected, as a result of the actions that caused you to have a particular setback. But at some point, you've asked for forgiveness from others, but at some point you got to forgive yourself as well, so that you can move on and that you can, start really on your new path and your new way of life and next chapter in life. So forgive yourself is another key component. And then third, I would also say, you have, in that process, you have to forgive others. Many times in, certain types of setbacks, particularly divorce, we feel like we were wronged by the other party. And, just a whole lot of feelings of resentment can take place. And unless you are able to forgive somebody else, you will not be able to move on. You will not be able to overcome that setback, which in this case, again, just use an example, is divorce. If you're still holding on to it, you're still holding on to the pain, the resentment, and you have not let that go, and you have not moved on. Strategy number three is to disassociate with toxic people. Disassociate with toxic people. I've talked about that in previous episodes. I've talked about it in detail on my podcast. But toxic people, I shouldn't really have to go into a whole deep, discussion about toxic people. But these are the people, if you really truly are trying to make progress, make changes in your life, these are the people, in a lot of cases, that you will find that are not allowing you to, in whatever way, maybe it's something that they're unconsciously doing or unintentionally doing that's creating, preventing you from moving on, moving forward in your purpose, in your higher, goal pursuits and goals. So again, it's nothing that they're trying to do to you. It's just because just where they're at and the place that they're in, it's just not, in line with where you're trying to go and the things that you're trying to achieve. So when you talk about those people, there is a disassociation that has to take place for you to be able to move forward and to truly be in the mental, financial, spiritual space to move forward and overcome this particular setback that you might be in. Setbacks such as bankruptcy or being broke, homeless, or whatever. You might find that it's best for you to disassociate with certain people in order to make that happen. Strategy number 4 to overcoming a setback is to create new goals and a new strategy and a new plan. Many of the things that, again, have caused certain setbacks are things that were caused beyond our control. And even in some cases, the ones that were out of our control, the involuntary ones, put us on a different path or just in a different space and place. And because of that, we may not be able to have the same goals and plans that we had prior to that setback or setbacks. So there's no need in continuing to hang on to those old goals, those old dreams, those old plans. It may require for you to move on and to overcome the setback, a different plan or a different strategy or even different goals. so that you can, emotionally know that, and kind of, put those things to bed, or they just, some of those old things that just need to just, that was then, this is now type of thing. And again, we're only talking about these things so that you can move forward and not be stuck and locked into, the past. Strategy number 5 to overcome the setbacks that you have in your life goes back somewhat tied to strategy number 4, creating new goals. But this one, strategy number 5, is stick to the script. So if you have new goals and a new plan and a new strategy that from what you've come up with, what you thought about, prayed about, whatever you did to really sought counsel from other people to come up with this better game plan, stick to it. Stick to it. You probably came up with that plan when you were in a good space or a good place, or you were really maybe focused on wanting to have a better outcome or achieve a better result. So just because things get tough, or you know that at some point you may have certain levels of temptations or distractions that are kind of getting you off your initial game plan, stick to the script. Get back to that plan that you set out to achieve, and know that that is going to create ultimately the outcome that you're searching, that you were initially searching for, the new outcome or the new goal that you were initially searching for. In some places, people will refer to behavior for people who kind of start not kind of moving away from the goals that they've set as backsliders or backsliding. You can kind of attach that type of to that type of description to this type of behavior. But again, just stay focused, stay committed to what you initially thought were the things that you needed to do in order to make a true difference, to overcome the setbacks that you have faced, and just stick to it. Okay, the 6th way for people to overcome success is this one's a long one, but grow to understand that setbacks are just a fact of life. Now I know this one sounds pretty simple, but it sometimes people miss it. They think we get into this false sense of reality, or false sense of expectations from life, that everything is supposed to go our way all the time, and that when that does not happen, we are disappointed, we're frustrated, we hate the world, we don't want to live in it anymore, we want to take our own lives. Those types of things, those types of thoughts will creep into our mental space. But if we develop a better understanding that the setbacks are just a part of it, everything will not work your way or my way all of the time. So when you come to something that happens that you really wanted to happen, you were dead focused that you were going to make that happen, it doesn't happen, get to a point of, mature or maturation that you say, okay, it didn't happen, but I'm not going to allow that to put me back into, a negative space and place, because that did not happen the way that I planned out to be. So, again, this is just so that, you don't lose a lot of time, you don't lose a lot of energy, because of these false realities and expectations that we set, to take you out of the game and keep you from pressing forward and moving on. And number 7, as far as our best ways for people to overcome Setbacks. And this one is the one that I truly enjoy. Is just learn to live and love your new life. Learn to live and love your new life. Again, there are just things that happen, and it puts us on a different path and a different course. And it wasn't probably how we initially thought they were going to be. You know, we may have thought that at some point we were going to, you know, be with a different person, or we were going to have, you know, a different level of financial status, or we were going to just, you know, live in a different, you know, space or place, you know, geographically, all kinds of things. But if you truly know that you are, you know, you're not at the bottom, I won't say you made it to the top, but in some cases you've gone straight from, you know, the bottom, or straight from hell, you know, back to, you know, being in a good place. Realize and you know that because of your hard work, your, you know, your determination, the work that you put in, because of maybe your prayers and your determination, that you are in a better place now than you were before, much before. Then, you know, take a time, take a moment out, take a breath to sit back and take it all in and say, you know what, you know, this is awesome. This is you know, this is just great. This is an awesome, wonderful place to be at in life, right in here, right now. And I'm truly grateful for that. Then you can declare victory. You know, you can get to a true place where you are, you know, you don't just have this string of L's and losses, you know, from all of the things that have happened. You know, you can actually put a stake in the ground and say that, you know, right here, right now, I have claimed victory. And this is a clear win, a clear dub that was achieved after all the setbacks in your life. So I think once you get to that place, you know, you can at least put, you know, a final destination or a final point, a final mark in your journey, or at least one place. Not saying that, you know, that you're going to just stop right here and just, you know, not do anything else, but you know, at this space right now, you're in a good place. Claim that victory, live and love your life right now, right where you're at. And that would be 7 of the best ways people overcome setbacks in their lives. As always, I hope that you enjoyed and most importantly gained value from today's episode. I do want to get your thoughts and your comments about what was shared today down below. Please drop that in. Let me know how you feeling, what you think about what was said. You can also visit me directly and comment directly on our website, from setbacks, 2 success.com. You can leave comments in our blog there. We will respond to those as well. And we also want you to share this YouTube channel and podcast with someone that you may know who might be going through something similar or need to hear this type of information that you think that can have an impact and create, you know, positive change in their lives from being a part of our community and a part of our channel.